Today, we're going to talk about the Red Death. We've got a problem here. Cody was supposed to join me today. I don't know where the heck he is.
I'm right here. I'm right over here. I'm right here.
The Batman of Earth 52. Earth 52 was part of the Dark Multiverse, which is a shadow under the primary multiverse, one formed of every fear and bad decision ever made or dreamt. Worlds in the Dark Multiverse are fragile and constantly deteriorating, inevitably doomed to destruction by their own malformed construction. Back to the origin. Batman of Earth -52 once fought crime with the help of his sidekick Robin. Unfortunately, as time went on, many different Robins lost their lives during various missions with the Caped Crusader, which drove him to adopt the more extreme measures toward crime fighting. When Earth -52 was on the verge of destruction, Batman uses weapons he obtained from the rogues, i.e. Captain Cold's Freeze Ray, Heat Wave's Heat Gun, Mirror Master's Mirror Gun, and Weather Wizard's Wand, to fight the Flash, who had refused to give him Speed Force powers. After knocking Flash out, Batman chains him to the hood of his Batmobile, which he has modified using the designs of the Cosmic Treadmill, and drives him and the Flash into the Speed Force. As a result, Batman and the Flash are forced to be fused into one being, with Bruce gaining Flash's powers and a corrupt connection to the Speed Force, while Barry's consciousness became trapped inside Bruce's body. With his new abilities, Batman quickly murdered his own rogues gallery, though realized he's still too late to save his own world from destruction. Bruce is then visited by the Batman who laughs, who tells him he can still save his world by joining Barbatos's Dark Knights and aiding the deity in conquering a multiverse above their own. Batman accepted his counterpart's offer and became known among the group as the Red Death. Where you been?
Where haven't I been?
Hello all in YouTube world. Jerry here once again on the Jerry's Costume and Props page here, talking about all my costumes and props, as the name says. I'm joined with my partner in crime, Cody, and
Hello.
today we're gonna change up things a little bit, because we originally started with the Angrier and No for our costumes, and really technically we should be going in order.
Yeah.
But I figured with the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League being just a week away,
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Something like that. Jeez.
I figured, why don't we jump into something that we can everybody can relate to. Not everybody reads these comics, but they can relate to the characters this comic represents. Costume represents, as told in the origin that you heard just a few minutes ago. This is the Red Death costume. This was Cody's costume. I originally fell in love with the Metal series, with the different Batmen from the Dark Multiverse. Cody's been a big fan of the Flash since it came out on TV, and probably before, I'm not sure. But being, doing the Speedster,
this was only fitting. So the idea of this costume obviously was, let's get into it. How am I going to put this together? What am I going to do? This was a very, very intensive process or project. Cody actually helped me out, being my stand-in person, kind of giving me some tips and tricks here or there. And without further ado, let's get to it. Let's start with this head first. All right. When I put this, you want to hold it or you want me to? All right. When I put this mask together, I used a foam template for a helmet, and off of, I believe it was Evil Ted Smith. Don't get me wrong, I'll put his link in here. By the way, I don't get any kickbacks if I mention anybody to this. It's just go to their websites. These people are awesome. So I used the Paladin headpiece, and it was one whole piece that went around, including the mouth. He came out with the template to make the mouth guard and to close everything in, and I utilized that design. Now, when you do the foam smithing, you end up with some seams and all that, and I would recommend using this abrasive caulking to quick seal to cover up a lot of the seams. Why do you bring that up? Let's look at the face here. Like seams like this here, it was a really sharp seam there. Right up through here, you virtually cannot see it. You can see the ridge going through. But it's basically floor mat foam. I should have told you that to begin with. Basically that floor mat foam that you get, it's like a puzzle piece type deal. And that was my original start to this. Let's take these off and show them the inside. As you saw with the null, this helmet is really no different. I do have the neodymium magnets on the inside, made in pieces. They were small enough that I could drill some holes in this foam to stick the magnets in. I then sealed up the outer edge here so they just wouldn't pull out. They are glued in though, by the way. Alright, why don't you show them the inside here? As you can see right there, and with these other build pictures that you're seeing coming up, you can see how it was put together, the style foam I used, and so on. With this mask, I had to do some work, extra work with the eyepieces. You gotta see another flash come through later on that utilizes some of the same features as this helmet has also. But I believe that flash mask is just the faceplate that comes off. It's not the clamshell of the helmet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a clamshell.
Yeah. I did cover it with that, what is it? It's 1/8 foamies you get at Michael's, 2mm or something like that. I did cover it with that. To the comic design, he did have some ridges going through. I cut into that. You don't really see the back of the helmet too much in the comics itself, but I just brought him to a certain point here and there. Alright, so let's turn it around. Okay, the eyes. Now, as you can see, there's a photo that has Cody wearing this mask, and he had masking tape over his face. I literally had to take a pencil to figure out where his eyes were, because as you can see, he does wear glasses, and these glasses are absolutely needed with any costume. He just can't go without them for like a half hour to an hour, can't see crap. So I needed to make these eyepieces just right so he could see out and have good vision. And not to stop with that, but I mean, we wore this to a con. We wore this to Granite State Comic Con, which is up in New Hampshire. I have a lot of friends up in New Hampshire. Hour and a half for me to drive out there, but you know, it's totally worth it. These guys are awesome. But anyways, Cody did wear this on the con floor, and I want to say your vision was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
In this, right?
Pretty good.
All right. Why don't you just throw it on real quick?
Yep, my hair's stuck in there.
Yes. Be careful when you put the neodymium magnets together and you get hair caught in it. Be careful with that. When you come up to here, they can actually see the hair a little bit, but you can actually see where his glasses were. He had really, really good vision in this. So, hearing was okay, I guess, right? Yeah. Kind of decorated piece with the nose piece here coming down, but these jaw pieces here, or let's call them jaw pieces or bellows or what, I had a hard time with that because I wanted good breathing. As you heard me talk about in the Ian Greer video, that the breathing was horrible. It just was horrible. You weren't around for that video.
No.
Alexis. So I wanted the breathing to be better. So I'm like, okay, well, these are like kind of louvered in here. You can take that off if you want. They're louvered. Yeah, why don't you show them that piece? I was gonna do the originally with foam, the louvering, but it's like, you know what? Why don't I try something with actual mesh? This is mesh. It's when you take it apart, show them the inside. It's that fiberglass meshing you use for screens, all through here. All right. I folded them up by hand, glued them in, and then I went over it with some red paint. Or actually, the red paint was actually man. I'll get to that when I get to the bottom piece. Anyways, and then there's like fangs here. It's a purely aesthetic piece. But if you wondered about these squares, as you saw, there was some fins on the side here, and let me just show you one of them. This is put together with foam. I'm trying to figure out what kind of material I used. I think I might have used a wood material on that for the backing there. But the design was done in the foam, painted with, once again, the Rust-Oleum hammered effect. And they actually just slide in here. Very good. The fins didn't sit perfect on the helmet. I can't get them perfect. But they did fold out a little bit in the helmet. There are so many renditions of these fins, I'm not sure which one to go with. So what I did is I went as close to the comics as possible. They did do a Prime 1 statue that actually was really good with this too. So, but these, they're sturdy, they held on really well. That's all it is. It's just a wedge that went in here, and when he was wearing it, boom, it didn't go anywhere. So I know that in the comics they do have some shadowing. I can't really portray that with this properly. You know, I probably should have with some airbrushing or something like that. But I liked how this came out. This was the first thing I started building when I was putting this costume together. It was a lot of back and forth with Cody and I, with him holding the helmet and putting the helmet on, and I want to say we actually had to use like a washcloth or something like that to raise it up a little bit.
It was either a washcloth or a very thin piece of foam.
Yeah, so something to raise it up just to, more adjust the eyes. You're always tweaking your costume even when you're done with it. It's never fails, never fails. So, but that's the helmet. Pretty much straightforward. There was quite a bit of work to go into this. I did this whole costume in one summer, like 3 or 4 months in summer. So, but all right. Let's get into. Well, let's get into the suit here. Like I explained earlier, the suit's put together with sandwich and lycra. I got that idea. I was putting together a movie version of Shazam costume, and I wanted the muscle suit underneath because I was getting real sick and tired. I had a separate muscle suit. I was getting real sick and tired of it riding up, and my abs were up to here. So what I did is I put one lycra suit, and I glued on muscles. Now I'm talking about the Shazam. And I glued on muscles, and then I put the other suit over it, and sandwiched in with more glue. It did give a very nice aesthetic appeal to it. Very nice setup. Very comfortable. Didn't move. Didn't really do anything. You're going to be seeing that in the next few weeks. Same deal here. What is sandwiched in here? A lot of these ab pieces here, the chevrons for these abs, are sandwiched in there. And once again, you're going to be seeing the build pictures coming up. But that's all this foam is like a 1/4 inch foam. And same with the chest piece here. That was all put under there. But other than that, that was it that went under the costume or sandwiched things over the costume. Now, Cody had a lot of back and forth with me with this costume till I got the final paint job done, because we had to do a lot of work on these chevron pieces on the arms. Literally, they are. Let me just feel here. Okay, all right. I didn't think I put something inside. I didn't. I know. I didn't do stepping them up. This whole thing is actually glued to the suit. I used well, I don't have the mannequin right here. It's taken apart. I do have a mannequin that this has been on through the whole build, and I had to wrap the mannequin in like a wax paper or parchment paper, just to keep the glue from sticking. If you have any information, just throw it out here, okay? So when it came down to putting these on, these are 1/4 inch foam. Once again, I'm not sure if I said that. Glued out and heat formed for the curvature. I glued it down with E6000 glue, and I did the same thing, with the rest of these, making them a little bit smaller as I went down. You can see with the comic images that they're slightly offset, and they just came right down. I am actually very proud of myself for this setup. This has, and I mean the paint's not really holding up too well. I'll explain why. But they're holding up really good. They're still stuck on this. I mean,
I couldn't pull them off if I tried.
Yeah, I mean, you wore this.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't appreciate this costume enough with the arms. I know it was a pain in the ass to put on, but with the arms, lifting the arms did you have any hindrance with the mobility? Did you feel different? Was it, it was tight, right?
It was a little tighter than your average clothing, but
Okay.
you couldn't really get the arms past like this point. But
Well, you did have these shoulder chevrons also.
Yes.
While I interrupted Cody about these shoulder chevrons, same thing, same style. They're actually half moons type deal, you know, the crescent moons, glued down. And this was actually interesting to glue because they just didn't want to stand up. They actually do stand up on their own. I want to say it was like I did one, I had to tape it down, do another, had to tape it down, do another, had to tape it down. Just to do it. But Cody was also mentioning about getting the arm up to this point. You're hitting these shoulder chevrons.
Yes.
So I mean, and that was like right into your neck collarbone area. So it does have a zipper effect, but I'm just trying to show you kind of what. Actually, come over here. These shoulder chevrons were roughly right here, coming out like this. And picturing Cody with these would have went like this as he did that. So, but I mean, once again, he had some excellent movement. I take pride in trying to make costumes movable. Other arm done the same way. Coming through the chest, I wanted to pronounce these chest pieces a little bit more, so I put on this 1/8 inch foaming across the chest. And then on top of that was the actual Red Death bat symbol, which I actually lifted the image out of a comic book, scaled it up in Photoshop, printed it out as a template, and cut it out in this the foamy. It's like it was actually a green foamy, as you can see, and I painted it white. Once again, with the chest and your abs going down it, how was that with moving? Explain could you bend over with that?
Yes. It was more of a problem with the back if I bent over. The back would have stretched a little bit. But
Right.
aside from that,
Yeah.
here it was roughly fine.
Okay. I know your waist, you had some issues with the waist. You know, I want to say getting down to this point was, you know, the actual hip area, if you drew a line, you know, bisecting yourself, what was that? Coming through here was more of the foam, the 1/8 inch foam is coming around. More pronounced of these, it's supposed to be armor pieces, so we were trying to pronounce that out. Coming down into the legs, I'm ending it just above the knees, but there were separate pieces of foamies that went around, kind of covered the leg, encased the leg. Inside, I left you some room so you could move.
Yeah.
I don't think you were stiff-legged at all.
Oh no.
Okay.
No way.
All right. It did have a side piece here too. But once again, we had some reliefs here. There was a relief right here and right here. Basically, the relief is to help with the stretching and moving of everything. And then into the regular costume. Now, I'm going to explain this whole paint job. Actually, looking at the back here. Now, there wasn't any foam across the butt area, but it's mostly very similar to the front. Anyways, the painting of this. This was actually a very interesting paint job because I still wanted to get this deep red color, but I wanted it to be rubber, plasticky, rubber, movable, extremely flexible. So my first coating was there's a red Plastidip. Why don't you be Vanna? This is the red Plastidip. It's, as regular cosplayers know it, we seal up a lot of the foam. For you new guys, I highly recommend this. It's actually a very good coating. It does fill in a lot of gaps. It is actually very, very workable to to use. I do recommend that you just not take the can off the shelf and spray it. Get a bucket of water or a bowl of water, warm water now, and let it sit, and put the can in it and let it sit for 3-4 minutes, maybe 5. The longer the better. Why? Because when you spray it, it comes out in like a nice evenness. If you take just a can, you sometimes might get this heavier spray on there. You might not get the exact feel you want for the costume. Highly recommend heating that up. Obviously, we can't throw it in the microwave, obviously.
No.
But you can heat it up with just a bowl of warm water. But that was used to, and basically, plastic dip, they made it for tool handles. They never made it for cosplay, but you know what? It's our good friend.
It works.
I have quite a bit of stuff that's all plastic dip. I know quite a few people that use it. So anyways, the base coat was that. I went through, and now I'm going to explain this. This is painting on the whole costume. The whole costume. There's gloves and there's gauntlets, boots, this, and the helmet. The base coat was the plastic dip. Really red, bright red. I didn't want the bright red. The Flash is actually, kind of maroon. I mean, he has a maroon, essence, but I don't think he's actually a bright red.
Not bright.
So, anyways, I'm getting off the subject here. I ramble quite a bit. So, and then I'm like looking at it, it's like, and you could actually see some of the plastic dip around its neck area, knowing that a lot of people weren't going to see that. So this outer layer was done with the paint process of 3. Now, what's the paint process of 3? Okay, everybody knows it is different. I call it the paint process of 3. Liquid latex, distilled water, and latex paint. Okay? Distilled water, let's go over this real quick. Distilled water, very simple. Get it at Walmart, 99 cents. I don't have a liquid latex down here, but it's the liquid latex you get if you do a search on Amazon. Look up liquid latex. It'll bring it up to that. It's the stuff that I was explaining to Cody about, making scars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's regular latex house paint. I mean, I could see some from here, but I'm not going to grab it. But regular regular latex house paint. I found the color I wanted for this suit. So I went to Walmart, bought a small quart of it. Quart was going to be fine. All right. When I started the paint process, it's 3 equal parts. So if you obviously you put a cup of distilled water in, you put a cup of this, and you put a cup of that, and that's it. Now I want to tell you that. Hope that's water.
I'm not sure.
I can't even open it.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
But simple paint sprayer I got at Harbor Freight. $15 maybe? $10, $15? It was enough consistency, or it was down to a consistency that could spray out of this sprayer. And this is coincidentally, because I still got red in there. This is the sprayer I use for this. I did this whole thing in my backyard. My neighbors must have thought I was a complete idiot. But anyways, mix the whole thing up. I put it in my sprayer. I set my sprayer, I think it was 100 PSI. Perfectly fine for this process. went over this. I mean, it went on smooth. It went on beautiful. It was great. It was great for the first month, and it's starting to get a little tacky right now.
Yeah.
Okay, just because we've had it in storage for over probably about a year and a half now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I can get rid of that tack by putting some powder on it. And you're going to end up with some tack. You will end up with some tack. So I would say get some powder, lightly brush it on, and you could actually take a what am I trying to think? Face cloth with some water, or paper towels with some water, and just go over it and wipe off as much of the powder as you can. But the tack's gonna actually take some of that in, so it gets rid of that. Once again, I could probably put it on here right now, but who knows? But it's held up very well in storage. I got some pieces here that are lifted right here, down through. But a lot of this could have been from wear and tear. I know under the arms was wear and tear.
Oh yeah, that was early.
Yeah. But the reason why I'm explaining this in detail, it's actually a very good paint process to use. Very flexible. Remains flexible for long periods of time. You could probably get, now I'm probably going to end up with some people come back and tell me I can't do this, but you could probably get some different kind of latex, not a liquid latex. Well, it is liquid, but it's like a modeler's latex, mask making latex might be a better option for this. So, but that's this body in a nutshell, paint wise. I just want to let you know that I did sew together. Now this was after I painted everything. When I finally pulled it off the mannequin, because I painted it, I didn't move it off that mannequin. I didn't do anything till the project was done. I wanted to make sure that this mannequin, I wanted to make sure that this costume didn't shrink, didn't do anything, didn't move on me, whatnot. I sewed the neck together. In the back here, I installed a zipper here. Excuse my light stand. It's yep, and it connects into there. Heavy duty zipper. I wanted that for the costume because I do have in my Shazam costume. It's tight, and I get nervous with these little zippers that go on there. It's like that goes, somebody's gonna get hurt. So I put a heavy duty zipper in here. And you know what? I didn't have to paint the full costume. Just paint enough of it. You get down to the hands here. It was like, okay, Cody, do you want to double up on the fingers? No, because he did have gloves that went over this too. So, but I wanted to make sure that this whole arm got put on and down. And same thing with the legs. Well, the legs, there's 2 layers there. There's no stopping that. He didn't need to wear socks with this. But I only painted it just below the knees. Okay, let's put that right there. And let's talk about, the other one must be in the box. Let's talk about the arm guard. Made 2 arm guards here. I fancy myself with zippers and foam with a lot of my arm guards. I've done 2 Shazams that are like that. I'm trying to think if the God of Death Flash had some arm guards to it. That might have done that too. I did that to the legs, the shin armor. I know I did that, but this was built very similar to the arms here, or to the biceps. Why don't you show them the back too? Yep. The zipper, we try to keep that kind of on the lower side, kind of hidden away. I hate to sound like a broken record, painted the same way. You can see the inside there. You can tell my construction. Once again, all I use is E6000 glue. I try not to use anything else. I might use a contact cement. I'm working on some costumes now that I did use some contact cement on, but like Alexis's costume, the Wonder Woman I'm working on for her, I've used contact cement in there. But very simple, boom. And I didn't care so much if it had these imperfections. Once again, you talk about this. When you put together a new cosplay, it's great to have a nice, new, pristine look. But you know, I kind of like the battle worn. I'm not talking about, you know, taking it and, you know, hacking off a chunk here or hacking off a chunk there. But if it's slight imperfections on this, I don't mind it because it looks like it's seen, you know, it's seen a fight or two.
Yeah, slight nicks.
Yep. So, these gloves. Ugh. Yeah, those are cats.
Should have seen what was on them.
Yeah. The gloves the same way, painted the same way. They were just run-of-the-mill mechanics gloves with heavy. I don't want to call it foam. It's like a silicone or so. It's a rubber material to help. It's a high impact material. Now, I know in the comics it looks like he's running with leather gloves, you know, or something a little bit more form-fitting. All right, you got me. I wanted something with a little bit more armor pieces. Shoot me. Once again, with these gloves, he did have a lot of mobility with it. You have as much mobility as you would with any old other glove out there. There was no difference there. All they did was just change the color. I want to say they were red to begin with.
They weren't this red, but they were a form of red.
Yeah.
Yeah, just...
I did use my airbrush. I loaded up some black paint in it. I meant to say it when I did this because I can see it on here. I did a black wash with my airbrush, more or less to accent the armor pieces. The gloves were that too, just to accent the natural ridges in there. Alright, now the next thing, and this is, I do apologize in advance. These were the boots he used.
Were.
Yeah. Were. Don't they look red? Don't they look red to you?
Yeah, they're pretty red.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a pretty shade of red. They're very light, you know. Anyways, we reused these boots for Cody's Cyclops costume instead of buying a new pair of boots. These are about $45. Believe it or not, I found them off a Wish. They are not the world's best boot. I just want to say that. That's the only way it's coming to mind. They do their job. It's like a faux leather. The inside has some felt.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like a fur on the inside. The bottoms are not, you know, really all that good. When I saw these boots, I actually fell in love with these boots. I thought these were the best boots for costume wear. Cosplay boots. You can buy some. Oh, what's that? Stay right there.
Bye.
You can buy some traditional cosplay boots off of eBay. These were marketed as pirate boots. They did have some cuffs over the top of it. These are probably about $60, $70 for these. Those I bought off of Wish. 45 of these. I bought some more recently, and they were like 25 a piece. You just have to kind of watch your sizes because they do come in European sizes, so you have to kind of work with that. Now, how comfortable were they to wear?
They were as comfortable as a boot could be.
Okay. Now, putting them on.
Because of how much laces there were, it was a little bit tedious. But other than that, they weren't that bad.
Painted the same, once again, painted the same way. I used the same process. When I changed the color around, because I did use the plastic dip. Now, when you recycle custom pieces, it'll be nice if you can recycle and get it back to the original color or the original state. I did, because let's show this. See that? Still has some red in there, but this black was the original. This whole tongue of that boot was colored to red. Because of the plastic dip, you can actually peel it off. If you work hard, you work it up a little bit, you can peel it off. I can do that with this whole costume right now. I got this piece right here, I can just go and it'll take the paint right off. But this paint actually stays on really well. So, change them to the yellow. I did the same thing. I found the yellow paint. Actually, I think I used one of the basics, Liquitex Basics, and did the similar mixture, and it worked out pretty good. So, but this was his boots that he used. These exact boots. If you look hard enough, you can still see the reds in them.
Yeah.
So, but that's the gloves, that's the arm guards, that's the costume, that's the helmet, that's everything. The build on everything. It took me 3 months to build this, but keep in mind I was also building the Drowned and the Batman Labs little teaser. But yeah, it's no teaser. You've seen it in the photos. So what I want to talk about right now with Cody is putting it on, putting this costume on, and some little behind the scenes stuff. I do have some photos on here of you getting into it. Right down into, he had a light pair of shorts and a undershirt on. I don't think he even wore socks with this.
Probably a little lost one there.
Yeah. We had to actually powder Cody to get him into this. The powdering is it's not an industry secret. It's how they get them into these rubber suits. This wasn't necessarily rubber, but when it got wet, it was damn near impossible to put on or take off.
Yeah, because it's all one piece. I was sweating.
Yeah, I mean, you had rubber,
Yeah.
literally rubber and latex, covering you fully from head to toe. He was the first to get into a costume at GraniteCon because it was so intense. He actually got to the point of he put the pants on or got the legs in. Once again, powdering the crap out. Even dry, it was a feat in itself. Excuse me. Got it in. He had to put the boots on, lace them up, and from there it just was telling him he had to put his arm through here, putting it through here, jump up and down. I'm pulling up on the back. He's jumping, pushing down. We finally get him into it and zip him up. Within the first 2 or 3 minutes, the kid's sweating. All right. Cody was you are a trooper. Thank you for going on the con floor for all that time in this. A lot of people, a lot of comments from people, a lot of pictures were taken. We joined the costume contest. It's unfortunate we didn't place this year, but hey, you can't win them all. But Cody had such a ball on this. I know that there was a time where you had to take the helmet off. You were overheating in this too.
Yes.
And I don't blame you. You're covered head to toe. You had to take the gloves off. We actually took 2 or 3 breaks through the day because it was a solid.
It was a solid like 8-hour day.
Yeah. You were on the floor that whole time. We did take some time off where we actually got Cody out of this costume, so he could cool down, kind of replenish his electrolytes or whatever he lost, and bathroom break too. But to get him back into this, he was sweating so bad that he was leaving marks on the floor when he took the boots off. We had to use a whole container of powder to get him back into it. And it was like, the hotel room was cool, so the sweat was cold. So to get it back in, come on everybody, you could just picture this, okay? You don't need me to explain it, you can just picture this. To get it in there and it's like cold sweat. And you're like, ugh, ugh. Oh God! And you all covered up. You have some foam underneath that sandwiched in, and yes, he did have some foam in the back sandwiched in also. So it was that neoprene foam that I used under here. It just came to mind. It was that neoprene foam, and neoprene's the stuff that they use for scuba suits. Totally waterproof. So there was no water coming through. So yes, but there was no air circulation in the arms. I probably should have put some arm circulation in there, but when he got out of it, he had to put more deodorant on and do all that stuff. We got him back into it. And when we finally got him back into it, we told him, just don't move. So he was a big trooper. We, after the con was done, we decided to go outside, try to get some pictures outside. My wife, love her dearly. Thank you so much for putting up with us for the day at Manicon. Because this isn't her cup of tea type deal. And, I'll let you know. She's trying to figure out stuff for something to do with work. We've both been at our jobs for 20 years, and my wife's work has a newsletter, and they asked her to, answer these questions. What would people not know about you? They'll be surprised to know about you.
What do you like about your job?
Yeah. Her answer to what might surprise people is she lives with a bunch of cosplayers. So, anyways, back to this. Going outside, she actually caught the picture that you see now. It was the most perfect photo that you can do. I tried to get just a single of me. Then it's then Cody came along, and Alexis came on. And it's hey, I like this. This is actually pretty cool. So it worked out actually really well. I'm still getting some people, loving this costume. And I hope with this video, the appreciation for this costume. That this was one of my crowning achievements. And if someone came by and said, "What was your favorite costume to work on?" They're all my favorite. But you know what? I put a lot of work into the Dark Knights because I wanted to do the series justice. It's not like I don't want to disparage any of my other ones. I put 110% into all my costumes. With these, I wanted to do good with these costumes, and I think I did for this. I don't know. I don't know if you want to add any bit more into this costume here, but once again, thank you, Cody, for being part of this and putting up with this costume. I believe this would be your third Flash, let's say Flash-esque character that we've done. We did the original Flash from the Injustice. We actually did the Flash God of Death, the Red Death. Flash is death. Jeez. And I'm hoping, and I haven't told Cody this yet, and I think I will let people know, I am considering a 3D printer because there's a lot of stuff that I can do for costume wise that comes out of that, and there's a few other things. But I have the 3D files for the Zack Snyder's or for the Justice League Flash suit. I have the whole 3D file. I can print up on the pieces and make that costume. And it includes the helmet. So you didn't know that, right? Till now.
Okay.
So there's that in the potential future, along with Nightwing and everything else. But anyways, I'm taking up a lot of your time right now. But I know that this ran long, but I wanted to give you the exact rundown of this costume. A lot of work went into it. You couldn't go out my porch during the summer because there was all these pieces hanging around. So, but anyways, all right. So I think that will be it. I do want to say thank you for sticking around and putting up with my ramblings here. I do want to say thank you, Cody, for joining me on this. I think that this does, having your inputs really puts more of a feel for the creativity into this costume. Next week I'm going to do the Drowned, or the next episode I'm doing the Drowned. I'm going to pull Alexis in for that one. And then I'm going to do the Batman the Laughs, and we'll see from there. But once again, thank you. Have a great weekend, week, whatever, whenever you're doing this. Thank you for stopping by. And
Have a great day.
now, you came by and you just blipped into this episode. You gonna do the same thing and blip out?
Bye-bye.